And welcome to Legacy Lines. This is episode number 12, and today is Wednesday, February 5th, 2025. We are right smack dab in the middle of winter. Super Bowl week, big game on Sunday. Going to be exciting. I think it'll be a good game. Anyways, I digress. Well, welcome to Legacy Lines, as I said, where each episode is a journey into the wisdom that shapes our lives. I'm Jason, your guide through the stories and strategies that forge exceptional results. Here we dive into the teachings that have not only shaped my life, but can redefine yours. From the biblical landscapes that guide us to the financial acumen that builds empires. Join me as we unpack the tool sets for extraordinary results. This isn't just knowledge, it's a legacy in the making. All right. So if you listen to episode number 11, I am feeling better finally. And I want to continue to grow our tool belt today and dive down into the title of the episode is the top 5 soft skills to boost our value in leadership. And of course, with an action. So let's get to work. I want to open with really defining the parameters of soft skills that we'll be speaking from. This will be our jumping off point, you could say. And the definition I've come up with to apply today's teaching is they're interpersonal traits that affect how you interact with your team and your colleagues. Soft skills really come down to how you own your job responsibility and work with other people. All right, and jumping into why soft skills matter in leadership, I believe that this is really the number one thing that has helped me boost my value in my career over the years. And as I attempt to articulate what they are today, they are much like a unicorn. They're dynamic, adaptable, and powerful when applied at the right time. And one of the soft skills I've mentioned on here before, one of the soft skills that it become very apparent to me that I needed to hone my craft at public speaking or presenting ideas. And so I really gave myself over to that to tune in to communicating effectively, making it hit with the quote unquote audience, and taking the time to communicate complex ideas into simpler versions that can be easily consumed or palatable for those that aren't quite in the same knowledge base of the ideas you're communicating, but maybe they're a buyer making a buyer decision. Maybe you're convincing, maybe you're vision casting. There's lots of elements to that, but under the banner of public speaking and presentations. But again, soft skills are like a unicorn. They're dynamic, adaptable, and powerful when applied at the right time. And I have seen many highly intelligent people struggle to advance because they lack relational influence in and around this area of soft skills. So I have a few real world examples of highly skilled individuals who were held back because they couldn't communicate, build relationships, or work effectively with others. And I will say this, promotions and opportunities don't just go to the smartest person. As a matter of fact, I would say if you work for an organization that is just the smartest person always takes out the oxygen in the room, be very wary of that. Um, the opportunities, they go to those who bring solutions and lead people well. So, as I'm reiterating here, the reason why I started this podcast, I'm talking to you children. For those of you who don't know, I started this podcast to create a digital copy of my life principles, of my life's teachings, of a biblical-based worldview that I'm giving away to my children, and you're just along for the ride. I'm glad you're here. If you are listening, I am humbled and I hope you get this out of this, but I'm talking to my children and future decision points and crafting their legacy that they're going to go and live out long after I'm dead. And so promotions and opportunities don't just go to the smartest person, they go to those who bring solutions and lead people well. So as you mature, children, as you grow up, bring solutions. Your voice grows very tired very quickly if you're a person that complains and does not bring solutions to the table. Your voice can be heard if you bring legitimate complaints, along with a road or path forward or creative ideas that are adding to the situation instead of taking the air out of the room. I digress. I always end up there. I digress. So, my summary of what we just discussed. So, as I said, I worked with many people that are brilliantly smarter than me on paper. Their influence was basically none in any organization. I've seen them move. I'm thinking of one person in particular. I've seen them move through different professional organizations. And I've also seen their influence be stifled because their lack to connect their rocket genius to real life ideas to decision makers and stakeholders. And I've seen rocket scientists, network engineers that we have chose, when I say we, professional organizations that I work for in the area of technology, that we've chose not to send out to our customer locations because they just simply can't interact with people. And that's really sad. And we would continuously get that feedback. Don't send me X, Y, and Z because I can't connect with them, or they're condescending, or they just want to be the smartest person in the room, yada, yada, yada. So soft skills really matter, not only in leadership, but your ability to communicate and add value in the world in general. This is a lot bigger than just quote unquote, we're jockeying for leadership, right? So the last comment on what I just said. So when the promotions are available for those that we'll just keep picking on network engineers, for those network engineers to move up into advanced opportunities, and do you think that that would even be considered as they may be textbook incredibly smart, but that answer is no. They're not considered to move up into a seat of influence because the soft skills are lacking. And so unfortunately, we must do both. We're a balance of both. We want to be lifetime learners. We want to be excellent at our craft. We want to continue our education and always be growing. And at the same time, be thinking about how that knowledge and information makes its way out of us. It's a big deal. I want to continue as we go down the rabbit hole of this episode. I'd like to continue to communicate this idea that I've developed over the years of that there's a progression towards leading out in front of people as you have those that you've been entrusted to grow, to sow into, to develop, to promote even. There's this idea that I want to communicate, that there's a progression towards the advancement of what I would call leading out in front of people. And some examples of this is having a vision for others to see values and talents and be developing a plan for their own customized progression as a leader. And also staying out ahead of those that you are leading with what I would call professional hygiene. Okay, so as we lead out ahead of others, we're not only stewarding those that we have been given the opportunity to help, we are also positioning ourselves as a serious individual, removing all objections for those that we are leading. And by doing that, we will be in alignment with the model of, you want to attract greater talent on your team or in your organization than you currently possess. And one of the ways we do this is leading out in front of others with professional hygiene and be developing a plan for customized progression for individuals. That's not general. That's very person specific and having eyes to hear those or see that. So attracting those that are more talented than us, we need to be able to learn to lead well out in front of them, and provide great organizational clarity and that we can steward and possess. And these are not, this is not an all-encompassing idea, but these are just two general examples of how we can lead out in front of other people that, quite frankly, are attractive, that are another type of a soft skill. Okay, so as we go down through this, let's focus from the premise of not only do we want to be aware of how we communicate, we can be rocket science smart, but if we can't make the rocket science ideas land, who cares? And then secondly, as we're in a position of influence and leadership, we need to be leading out in front of others, developing a customized plan for those on our team to move them into and or keep promoting, and leading with professional hygiene in mind. So the top 5 skills that will boost your leadership value. Number 1, it should be no surprise. We've already talked about it. Communication. What does that mean? The ability to clearly express ideas and connect with others in an understandable way. I already used the idea of presentations, but let's break it down. Why does that matter? Great leaders communicate with clarity, confidence, and adaptability. I would say even your body language, for that matter, and that actually probably matters more. And I would say that this is a very up close and personal example for me. I I am a very I have a very hard time buffering and filtering the way I look when I'm receiving information. You could say I emote. I'm a passionate individual. I'm all in or I'm all out. So I am working on this body language thing. I think that my facial expressions and the way that I receive information, both good and bad, just my cards are always out there. But the fact of the matter is that has worked well for me to be aware of that, and I am growing in the idea of buffering that. But my personal brand is known to be a brand of authenticity and trust, and I really value that. So back to communication. So examples of strong communication: active listening, presenting ideas effectively, not rambling, and understanding different communication styles. I don't have this in my notes, but it's worth a quick story. So about 5 years ago, I worked at an organization where I was responsible for the way we sold a certain solution. And I would find myself regularly training our salespeople with knowledge and information and even presentations and demos on how to present this solution to customers. As a matter of fact, this individual just reached out to me through social media asking for a call with me. And so this is a top of mind positioning thing under the banner of communication. I always like to make this real life. So we go and we have an important meeting, and this individual is just gung ho. I'm going to do the demo today. I'm ready. I'm going to do the demo. Where typically, if it was an important customer, I would take the lead on the presentation and the demo as the product manager and the voice of the solution, the responsible party. But in this particular instance, on this particular day, this individual who was a sales member and a solution architect, which is supposed to be the smartest person in the room, was going to this meeting, and myself. So there was 3 of us total at this meeting. And so we're in the conference room with the customer, and this individual is just, oh, it's painful to watch them communicate. It is essentially, a friend of mine explained it to me this way one time. It was spot on. He said, so and so confuses the customer, then confuses himself, and then confuses the customer more into buying something. And that's exactly what it is. It's like, what do you buy? I don't know, but I bought it because I was confused. It sounded like I need. It's just so unclear. So, anyways, we go through this demo, and he's winding up. All right, we're coming to the crescendo, and blah blah blah. And without a breath, he looks over at me and goes, "And Jason, how was that demo?" Oh my gosh. And and I hung my head because I'm going back to that authenticity thing. I'm going back to the I cannot tell a lie type of a thing. So right in front of the customer contacts, we're all in this conference room, and I just hung my head and I go, that was one of the worst demos I've ever heard. And the place just erupted with laughter. Oh my gosh. Because they were already feeling it. They were already feeling it. So, examples of strong communication: active listening, presenting ideas effectively, and understanding different communication styles. Number two, time management. That is using time wisely to accomplish tasks, set priorities, and meet deadlines. Why does it matter? Well, those who manage time well build trust and reliability in leadership roles. Full stop. Bottom line, some examples of strong time management: planning tasks efficiently, staying focused on high priority work, super, super critical, completing projects on time, absolutely. Man, a couple comments here. So I structure my day with the hardest, most important thing first. Um, that's just, you must do it to move the needle. Don't put things off. Stay focused on high priority work that matters. I am being forced to do this in a very real way right now, to hone the way that I communicate of the last 10 years of my life, and why it actually mattered, and why was it high priority work. And then completing projects on time. Another thing around the idea of time management. Man alive, when you have to jockey and reschedule and redo timelines, there is a compounding negative time effect that you are losing huge on. It is like you went to the Venetian and you had $5,000 and you bet it all on black and it came up red and you're dead red. It is that much of a time killer. Instead of setting out reasonable expectations with timelines that are appropriate to complete projects on time. Number three, work ethic. What I'm meaning is that's very, very broad. That can be applied to a number of different areas or even skills. But the discipline of how you show up, be consistent, and pursue excellence in small things. Okay, there's a novel idea. I just got done soapboxing on the idea of high priority work. But guess what? It is the small things that lead to that high priority work is being diligent of your projects and timelines, of planning tasks effectively. And your work ethic is one of the things behind that matters. So let's go into this a little bit more of why it matters. You have complete control over this skill. This is yours to allow you to run over like a steamroller going backwards, or you hop on it like a sled going down a giant hill, getting ready to fly over an awesome ramp. I don't know why that came to mind. I haven't went sledding all year. Anyways, you have complete control over this skill. It's what separates good from great. Work ethic is about how dedicated you are to being excellent in the small things. And I'd say it's the soft skill that you have, again, the most control of, and the ability to let this control you. So things like showing up every day, giving your best effort, setting out first thing in the morning to daily prioritize your list, responding to emails in a time-efficient manner that are important, being a person that doesn't leave things open-ended. That is all under the banner of work ethic, communication, etc., which leads to the soft skills that boost our leadership. And examples of a strong work ethic, I gave a few there already, but bookending this is be punctual and dependable. Be dependable. Delivering work better than expected. Okay, this one's a delicate balance. Let me comment on that real quick. We can drive ourselves crazy doing above and beyond what's expected work. I would caution you to do a little bit better than what's expected, not a lot better, because there is an element here that if you present ideas and work that's so good, maybe it took you twice as long to do, but there isn't a grid work to be able to understand and receive the depth of information that you mined out and or did or delivering. That work is actually in vain, and you're casting your pearls before swine, to use a biblical reference. So be careful with that. Delivering work better than expected should be 2% better than expected, not 20. Save the 20 as there's a lipness buildup, or excuse me, that's a poor way to frame it, as there's a palate to receive the results that are over the top. Don't do all that extra work if there's no grid work to understand it, okay? And then persevering through challenges. Persevering through challenges. I judging by what I've already laid out in this lesson here, I am a very scheduled person. I like my timelines, but the thing that I have gotten feedback on that I've tried to grow in is when timelines and things change, how do I then just take this energy and effort and move it to another channel in the river that's opening up? I've developed this language, moving where the water is flowing. There's a lot of, when you're a high capacity person and you're involved in a lot of things, you have a lot of responsibilities, 7 things can be on hold, 3 things can all of a sudden open up, and then 2 of those other 7 now open up, but then 1 of the 3 shuts down. You have to be able to persevere through those challenges and jump on where the quote unquote the water is starting to flow out of the holding pond. I hope that example makes sense. And then number 4, teamwork, the ability to work well with others, contribute in a positive team dynamic and support success. Why does this matter? Leadership isn't about individual achievement, definitely not. In fact, the leaders that are about that are really a turnoff for me. It's actually pretty lame, and I would highly recommend against not being one of those leaders. Be a servant leader. Get to people's heart by radical servanthood, by supporting them as best as possible. And that is something you can, as a leader, deliver work better than expected, because that will be well received every time. Okay, so why it matters. Leadership isn't about individual achievement. It's about bringing people together toward the goal. Okay? Examples of strong teamwork. Building rapport and trust. Huge. Sharing knowledge and resources. Huge. I steal all my secrets. Steal everything I got because I want you to win. And I mean that. Every single person that I encounter that's inquisitive, I want them to steal all my secrets. And then taking on different roles to support the team's success. Big, 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 big. Don't get comfortable. Don't just stay in one area. Don't watch balls fall to the ground. If you can do it, be a team player. Always be growing. Step up to the plate. Take on new challenges. And number 5, the last one, problem solving. The skill of identifying challenges and taking initiative to find solutions. Kind of opened here and we'll kind of end here. The ability to find solutions is a very big idea. It's a very, very welcomed When you build up a track record of doing this well, it's a very, very well received gift. I would call it a gift. The problem solving gift, the ability to see things before they're a problem, the ability to think long term. I've mentioned that a lot on this podcast, and I will continue to. So, why does it matter? Leaders who solve problems before they escalate become indispensable. That's key. Before they escalate. Problem solving is just what it sounds like. Do you take the reins and fix what's broken or what could be improved without being asked? Are you on the lookout for opportunities to make projects run smoother? That's that's what problem solving is all about. And some examples of strong problem solving: identifying root causes of problems. That's a big deal. When you just throw, I'm pausing to think how I want to frame this. Root causes. Let me define what a root cause is. Why something is truly broken. There might be symptoms, but it's very, very critical to get down to root causes so the problem stops. And it's not just solved for a day, a month, or even a year. It's solved. And you put it to rest. You free up the emotional energy that you were dealing with it, and you move forward. Okay. Identifying root causes of problems. Brainstorming creative solutions. Can you bring people together to dream and to provide powerful next steps forward? Implementing changes that improve outcomes. That's a rare bird right there that's able to do all that stuff, but it's very, very critical. So, wanted to encourage you with that. We're going to close out of here today. So, why are these skills so important? Well, I think you're probably coming to that realization all on your own as I communicate. But it goes back to really just honorable principles. They build trust and credibility with leaders, volunteers, and peers. So they position you for greater influence and responsibility. They create a healthy work and volunteer cultures that drive success. I think both of these, whether you're working in a nonprofit or you're working in a for-profit or a SLED job, state and local education departments, um, all of these things are well received wherever you quote unquote put your time and effort into. Okay. And while some of us are born with stronger interpersonal or self-management skills than others, we can learn how to master these abilities. For example, if you're a little hard-headed when it comes to receiving constructive criticism, you can simply learn how to be more coachable. And I would encourage you that the more you do that, the more you know that people are actually probably rooting for your success, that are willing to take time to coach you, that you can grow up to that idea that good feedback can actually come from anywhere. And I don't like that principle because if I don't respect people, I have a very hard time receiving criticism and feedback from them, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. Now, I'm responsible to get better at hearing that constructive criticism and feedback and continually becoming more coachable over the course of time. And then how to improve your soft skills. Number one, identify areas for growth. Be honest about which of these skills need development. And I would say pick one. And of course, we can learn from others. Steal all my secrets. That's why I'm doing this. I want my kids to steal all my secrets. I want you to steal all my secrets. I want you to be successful. And of course, we can learn from others. Books, coaching podcasts, mentors, and YouTube resources can accelerate growth. Mentors are a big deal. Takes a while to build up curated sources that you get in the habit of taking larger decisions in life too, but it's very worth it. It's very worth it. And practice intentionality. Apply what you learn daily. Growth happens through action. I call this when you when you learn knowledge, apply knowledge immediately. It's called in-demand learning. Joshua Sheets from Radical Personal Finance. That podcast doesn't do him justice. I've mentioned him several times on here. It's learning what you need to know in the moment and applying it immediately, as opposed to, I got to learn all this stuff to become a learned person. No, you can learn in demand. You can learn on demand in the moment and learn better, actually, because you apply it immediately. And then again, so that's under practice intentionality. Apply what you learn daily. Growth happens through action. Don't wait for perfection to happen. Growth happens through action. Push past discomfort. Even if it feels unnatural at first, small steps will lead to major transformation. And so, really, soft skills, they're not optional. They're essential for growth in leadership, business, and life. Which of these 5 skills do you need to work on the most? Man, I'd love to hear you, but it's a one-way conversation today. And so, however you're coming into contact with this information, I hope it really blesses you. So take one step today to grow in communication, time management, work ethic, teamwork, or problem solving, and watch the doors of opportunity begin to open. And don't forget, the best is yet to come. I love saying that. Bless you, and I'm out.